happy and healthy.
This is a series aimed at providing older adults with resources on health, fitness, finances, and other services.
Happy and healthy.
Welcome to Happy and Healthy, a series that provides needed resources for seniors, older adults, and their families. Today's discussion focuses on volunteer opportunities for seniors. I'm Bill Hodges, a volunteer host for Tampa Bay Community Network, your community TV channel. The place where you can learn to create your own videos, have your own show on cable TV and the internet. With me today are Deborah Blossom, Training and Volunteer Manager, SERVE, Volunteers in Education, Sandy Lipitor, Director of Community and Strategic Partnerships, Seniors in Service of Tampa Bay, and Crystal Russell, President, HAVA, Hillsborough Association of Volunteer Administrators, and I am so delighted. Let's talk with each of you a little bit. Sandy, tell us a little bit about your organization and the things you do.
Seniors in Service has been around for nearly 30 years. We celebrate our 30-year anniversary next year. We are actually a volunteer organization. We engage volunteers to go out into the community and help the needs of the community.
Deborah, let's hear about your organization.
Okay, great. I'd love to tell you a little bit about SERVE, Volunteers in Education. I always like to refer to SERVE as the best kept secret in Hillsborough County. We are the official volunteer arm for the School District of Hillsborough County. We recruit, train, and place manage volunteers for the district that work with students. We have been around for over 40 years, and we are unique in the state of Florida because we're the only organization of our kind that's a separate nonprofit from the district.
Oh, really?
Yes, we are.
Well, the last one we haven't heard from yet is Crystal Russell. Crystal, will you tell us about HAVA?
Yes, HAVA stands for Hillsborough Association of Volunteer Administrators. It's been around for nearly 40 years, since 1974. It was designed to enhance professional skills of people who work as volunteer administrators and provide educational and training opportunities just to help enhance their skills.
Tell me a little bit about HAVA how do you relate to them as far as you got various organizations you're bringing together?
Yes, most of them are non-for-profit, although it's not limited to non-for-profit organizations because several companies and non-for-profit and for-profit corporations do have volunteer components to their agencies or business. And we work with individuals in those areas to help to generate networking opportunities, provide support. We offer training sessions for each monthly meeting that we hold. Just basically to come together and compare notes, share resources, and update each other. A lot of times it's information sharing for the most part.
What about homeowners associations and things like that? Would they be something that would be part of it?
If they volunteer in any capacity, anybody is welcome. You don't have to be a member or work for a nonprofit agency or corporation, much less just have an interest in volunteerism.
Let's go back to the school system. You are separate from the school system, is that correct?
Yes, we're a separate nonprofit. We are the official volunteer arm though, so we manage thousands of volunteers, actually close to 30,000 volunteers for the school district. We provide background screenings for the School District of Hillsborough County for any volunteer that volunteers on the campus. We have trainings that we offer for volunteers and parents and focus on literacy with most of those trainings. And then we also have the Speakers Bureau where we recruit and place volunteer speakers in the classroom.
That's sort of like the Great American Teach-In?
Great American Teach-In all year long.
All year long?
Absolutely. Yes.
I have to tell you, and I'm going to make a plea to anybody out there that has skills. These kids, I spoke this last time in front of 2 different classes at East Bay High School, and they were the most respectful, nice kids. And I had a great time for 2 hours, one in each class. Mm-hmm. And I just don't understand why more people just don't make themselves available. But I didn't know that you had that opportunity for everybody all year long. How does someone take advantage of that?
Well, they can contact the SERVE office, and or they can go on our website, which I know will be available during this publication. They can go on our website, and there's information about the Speakers Bureau there, and then they can contact the manager of the Speakers Bureau. who will help coordinate them and get them connected with the schools. It is really one of the most rewarding things that a volunteer can do. And the beauty of it too is that you can do it based on your availability. When you're available, your interest, the topic that you have that you want to share with students, the story that you have that you want to share with students. So it is a great opportunity for volunteers to get involved in public schools and charter schools.
I had a friend tell me, well, I'm a plumber. They don't want to hear from a plumber. But I think, you know, there's children out there that may become plumbers. Someone once said, one of the Greeks, you have to educate both your philosophers and your plumbing, because if you don't, neither your pipes nor your philosophy will hold water.
Exactly.
And you've got to get those people out there, right?
Right.
How do you interface with seniors?
In a very similar way. You know, we have an opportunity. What we do is we actually recruit, train, and place seniors into schools. And we're intergenerational, so we're working with two different populations. We work in the schools, just like Deborah was talking about. Our volunteers actually work in the schools, helping work alongside the teachers, helping children who are struggling. And then the other side of it is that we work with frail seniors or disabled and help them stay in their homes. So we actually go into the home of low-income seniors and help them stay independent.
Really? Do you pair them off?
Yep. Yep.
Give me a little more information on that, because I'm sure there's, you know, today it's expensive to live in a home by yourself. It really is. And I've often wondered why you have, especially women, you have two women trying to maintain this big house, and it would be so much better if you could pair them up and get them in where each could be together. Because I'm thinking to myself, I love my wife Phyllis, and I don't know what I'd do without her. I wouldn't want to be in that big house all rattling around. It's so many times you want to say to somebody, right, what should I do? Should I do this? Should I do that? Do I need to go to the doctor? Maybe not. But sharing it would be so much nicer. Is that part of what you're doing?
Maybe not quite to that extent, but we actually do have the opportunity. Keep in mind the population that we're working with are not economically in a financial situation to be able to afford having help in their home to maintain independence. So let's say they require a little bit of extra help and care. They may need somebody to do some errands for them. They may need someone who could, a lot of times it's just companionship. You know, it's having someone there who cares. Yes. And for this population, it's huge what you can do. But the really cool thing is that you're matching a senior volunteer with someone who's also a senior who needs help. And pairing those two makes amazing things happen. The relationship that develops is absolutely just heartwarming, totally heartwarming.
If someone wanted to volunteer with this organization, what kind of, I know going into the schools, I had to fill out a lot of paperwork and everything, even though I was just going in for 2 hours, I had to do a lot. If someone volunteers, and I want to hear from all of you, what do they have to do?
We're pretty much in agreement with this, I'm sure, because all of the volunteers today have to be level 2 background checked, and you know, Deborah touched on that earlier. You know, it is what we do. You can't assume that everybody is going to feel comfortable in having someone in their home or working with their child who has not had. Am I right in assuming?
You're right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, it's a screening process.
Crystal, what's a level 2 background check?
The levels depend on how close you are to the student.
Oh, okay.
So a level 2 background check could be an individual who wants to go on a daytime chaperone that's slightly closer to the student than a classroom speaker, as Deborah would say. And so they would have to go through another level of screening where there are additional checks, background checks, and these are based upon some websites that we use.
So it's not really extensive at level 2 to do this kind of thing.
It's not, fingerprinting is not required if they're doing daytime, but it is a full check of a couple of different sources. An
agency check?
We do a check with the Florida Department of Corrections and the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department. And then one of the most important checks, and we just have to understand for the safety of all the students, that one of the most important checks is the what we call the SOP check is, frankly, the sexual offender predator. And it's for the protection of all the children. in the school district. The Department of Corrections in Hillsborough County. So those are the checks that will be conducted. It's a very simple process. You complete the volunteer application and you turn that in, and then the check is done, and then volunteers are contacted and placed. And just to piggyback too on the caring, we were talking senior to seniors, but we have seniors that work with students in Hillsborough County Public Schools. And that is one of the most caring relationships that we find, because seniors they care, they're gentle, and the students accept them as grandparents, kind of, as a little different. They receive them a little differently, and so it really is a magical relationship, kind of when it happens. We have the seniors tutoring, as well as classroom helpers in the classroom, but it is a very necessary asset to have and resource to have the seniors in the schools and working with the students. It's a positive thing that happens.
We had something happen in our school system up north that I thought was really fun. It only lasted a short time, but I was an official, sports official in 3 sports. And I'd be in doing a junior high game or something, kids playing their heart out, nobody in the stands.
Yeah.
Both mom and dad working, nobody in the stands, they're playing their heart out. So I went to the principal, I said, there's this large senior center over here. Couldn't we go over there, get a busload of them, bring them back, and let them watch the game, maybe have cookies and something afterward? And they did, and it was so much more fun for the kids.
Absolutely.
And the seniors loved it, and they kind of paired off cheering for a particular kid.
Right.
So your programs are so important. What can you tell me about the kind of volunteer you need? What is it that they can do? How can they do it? How will it help your organization?
It's a simple thing, really. First of all is the desire to do something. And sometimes people get a little bit concerned about that. They're like, maybe they lost their husband or their wife. Maybe they're kind of restricted in, their opportunities to have contact with people around them. And they say, I don't know if I can really do anything. And everybody can do something. Everyone can do something if you can just step out. It's amazing, because you get as much as you give. In any volunteer, you get as much as you give. So for someone who's interested in volunteering, this is really something that they could do very easily by calling our office. We're looking for volunteers all of the time, and it can be as much or as little as you want it to be. You can actually be involved in, like Deborah was talking about, the volunteers that go into the schools through our program is called the Foster Grandparent Program. And we have volunteers who are dedicated to actually working 5 days a week. They're serving these kids, and they work as much as, serve 25 hours a week, and make a huge difference to a young person who doesn't have, like you were talking about, that somebody, doesn't have maybe the time themselves, or have maybe even parents involved.
A lot of our kids don't even know their grandparents. Some not even their parents.
Yeah, they're not.
For all
they're not even
practical
around.
purposes. I noticed one of the people that came on the show from the state legislature was talking about the foster parent programs, and that 70% of those children, by the time they reached 18, would end up with a criminal record of some sort or another. Yeah. That's awful.
That's awful.
And we have the resources, we have people. What if people don't have transportation? If I'm sitting there in my home and I'm thinking, gee, I'd like to read for somebody. I love to read, and I could read for them, but I don't have transportation to get from here to there. Are there volunteers that would provide the transportation to get them to a particular place? And I'm opening that up to everybody.
That's a good question. It's not something that I know of, but I don't know if you
Yeah,
have
we
anything for
don't,
senior service, right.
although I will say, that being said, we always try to match the volunteer close to where they live.
Exactly.
So that helps. We do have volunteers that actually ride together to places. And the other side of it is there are some that actually take a bus to get to where they're going to. Again, they're within a close proximity to where they should be.
So maybe you need some people to volunteer to drive.
That would be great.
That would be another
Wouldn't that be
avenue.
something?
Yeah, absolutely.
For all of you, that may be an avenue that you want to take a look at.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that'd be great.
Maybe one of the organizations that you already have in HAVA can do something like that.
It's possible. We have several organizations involved, and they all require certain types of volunteers. So it's not like you're just in education or in the seniors in service, but through the United Way or the City of Tampa Youth Council, Dress for Success, serve as a speaker. Placement in considering what you want to do, you want to look around the area that you are to volunteer first, and perhaps that resource will provide some transportation or may be easier to get to as opposed to trying to go across town. I know with the speakers, some of them only want to focus on a particular area of town because of their level of comfort,
Sure.
and specifically those and some in Sun City Center who don't want to travel 5 or 10 miles outside of their neighborhood. So we try to accommodate, but we can't control the transportation process.
We have a group in Sun City Center called Samaritan Services that does drive people around. It's a volunteer organization. And if somebody in town, in the greater Sun City area, has a problem, they can't get to the doctor, or they need a ride home from the hospital, or they need even go get groceries, I believe, they will come and get you at your home, take you there, wait for you, bring you back home. And I'm wondering if there's any other organizations like that around. And I don't know whether Samaritan Services, for instance, would take somebody from Sun City and take them over to East Bay High School or up to Riverview. But I would think that would be fairly close to their service area.
That's an interesting
Right, that is.
So it might be good for y'all to get in touch with Samaritan Services and find out what they will do and how it would interface with each one of the things you do, wouldn't you think?
I would think
that's
so.
great.
Yeah, that is a great way of looking at it too. I did want to piggyback on one other thing when you asked the question about what type of volunteers. And I would say from SERVE is very similar. We're just looking for caring adults that want to have a positive impact on the academic experience of students that attend Hillsborough County Public Schools. And that's what we're looking for. And if
But they don't even have to be seniors, do they?
They do not have to be seniors, no. Seniors make great volunteers, we know that, but no, they do not have to be seniors. We have volunteers from high school age that volunteer at younger schools, middle or elementary, but also we have college volunteers from college universities, a big source. But we do want to make sure that we reach out to and receive well our seniors that want to volunteer at the schools, because we know the asset that in the positive energy that they bring and the outcome of that experience. Yeah.
Crystal, you're wearing two hats here.
Yes.
You're here with HAVA,
Yes.
but you also work together. Is that
That's
correct?
right. That's correct.
So let's talk about some of the things you do within that organization.
I coordinate classroom speakers for the school district and for grades kindergarten through the 12th grade. I have several community educational outreach programs who have people to go out and speak about various topics. We try to stay closely related to the Sunshine State standards or the curriculum, math, reading, science, those areas. Although a growing number of requests are coming for careers, and I know that I utilize a lot of resources through senior groups that have retired and can talk about or want to talk about what they did for a living. So those are also areas to benefit students.
But it's important that people understand, again, though, that it's not because you were a great businessman. It may have been you were a plumber, or that you drove a train, or did all these different areas, correct?
That's right.
So people don't get the idea that just because you weren't senior VP of something, that you don't have something to share. It's not true. A lot of these kids are going to do other than that, and they need to hear your story too, right?
That's right. There are a lot of training programs where there might be a plumber. No one's asked me for a plumber lately, but if they do, I'll find one for them. But those resources are just very necessary for students just to enhance their skills and learn from somebody who's been in the industry for quite some time, and just be able to get firsthand experience from a professional. And you don't have to be a doctor, lawyer, or any high profile. But there are a lot of motivational speakers that essentially stress the importance of education and sticking through school and graduating, which is a major focus right now, and getting students just to get through school and understand that there are trials and tribulations, but you still got to study and move on to a post-high school institution and become a valuable citizen in this country.
What if I have had a successful career as a bookkeeper or whatever? but I'm not a great speaker. I'd really like to do something. Is there any avenue that you would help them to maybe organize a talk that they could give, anything of that nature?
Well, not every professional speaks or wants to speak. There are other things they could do. They may be working alongside that career area. There could be, the accounting classes. They may work directly with some of those students or something like that. They could tutor. A lot of the volunteers, they don't necessarily have to speak or tutor. Or you want to interview them to find out where their best fit is, whether it's a speaker or a tutor. Something along the lines of senior service, classroom helper. That will help generate their comfort level, and they don't necessarily have to speak. Although if they want to, we'll work with them in the particular field of their study, which they'll be most comfortable at. But we can find a way for them to get involved in some capacity if they're interested in volunteering.
I love the career centers, and I think they're the best kept secret in the Hillsborough system.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've got some wonderful career centers.
I always like to say too, piggybacking on what Crystal was saying, that the best volunteers are the ones that are matched up with their gifts and talents. So whatever your gift and talent is, there's a place for you. And there's a place for you in Hillsborough County Public Schools from K through 12th grade to the career centers, whatever your area. I know that doing Great American Teaching, some of the teachers said that some of the people that would come in and they crochet. And they show the students how to knit or crochet. And the students are all excited about this. So that's one area you think, well, it's just crocheting or knitting, but it is a gift or talent, and it's something that you can share with someone. So wherever your gifts are,
never seen, right?
and they've never seen. I mean, really, how many people crochet today, right? So think about that. Think
I used
outside of the
to.
box, right?
But Rosie Greer used to do it too. He did it.
Right. Exactly. That's
I
right.
grew up with my grandmother during the war, and we would have to go down to the church and knit socks and stuff for the soldiers. And so purl 1, knit 2, I got through that, but everything I made turned out that long. It's great scarves, but no jackets, no shirt, nothing like that. Nothing as pretty as that red outfit you've got on. Let me give each one of you 1 minute or so to just talk directly to the people and tell them what you'd like. What gift could the people out there give to you to make it worthwhile? What could they do for you?
I would say that obviously for us, it's huge to have people want to be involved, to have an opportunity to give their gifts, like Deborah was talking about, to believe that they can make an impact in today's society. There are kids everywhere who could use their help. There are seniors and frail, disabled people who could use their help. And volunteering is amazing as to what it can do for you personally. It lifts you up. You get as much from it as you give, and you come away from it having had an opportunity to give back to your community.
Great, outstanding. Deborah?
Okay, I would just say pretty much the same thing in saying that if you want to make a difference, if you want to have a positive impact on the academic experience of a student, K through 12, or a young child throughout Hillsborough County, think about what do I want to do? What are my gifts and talents? Where can I have the biggest impact? And then we can help you. We can help place you. We can help make you feel comfortable and good about the situation and connect you with the schools. Giving back is just the most amazing thing and the most amazing experience. We find a lot of times with the volunteers that they come to serve, and they come to serve at the schools to help make a difference with the students. But what you end up finding out is that the biggest difference is with you, that the students have such a positive impact on the volunteer. So we want volunteers to consider that, to consider what do I want to give, what are my gifts and talents. We have over 225 schools throughout Hillsborough County that we can help match you up with students. We have students struggling in reading and in the elementary grades, maybe students that are not on grade level yet. We want every child on grade level by 3rd grade. So what can we do to help impact that? One of the main things you're going to do as a volunteer and is help to increase the self-esteem of students and children in Hillsborough County. And if you can do that just a little bit, just one step at a time, one child at a time, you will leave an impact on the students, on the community, on the world, and on their future, and on as a whole. So
Well, that's
all I can
very
say.
powerful. There's so
That's
many
awesome.
wonderful things in there. Crystal,
Well, can I wear my two hats now?
you can wear both hats.
Well, one hat is the speakers, and oftentimes classroom speakers actually are in-house field trip, because some students, it broadens their horizons, and in many ways from careers or experiences or programs that they may not have normally encountered. So just to participate, if you are a speaker and have a particular area that you speak about that can enhance a student's life. A lot of times I remember going to school and hearing a speaker who impacted my life. So a lot of times
Oh,
parents
yes.
could tell you something all day long, all month long, all year long, and you don't hear it. And sometimes the speaker will come to your class and just hit home, and the light goes off. Now the second hat is through HAVA, and we have various organizations that are part of the membership, and just participating or becoming a member through HAVA, because we all share the same issues of recruiting, retaining, and recognizing our volunteers, just to maintain their level of motivation. So just getting involved, to coming to our meetings, or sharing resources, or networking, and getting involved or serving the volunteer population through HAVA will be greatly appreciated. We meet on the second Tuesday, or the fourth Tuesday of every month right now, and our email address is myhavahillsboro@gmail.com. If anybody is interested in getting involved or learning more about our organization, we'd be happy to respond and get you connected.
You all three are such powerful, dynamic ladies.
Thank you.
Sweet.
I am so happy that you spent your Valentine's Day with me. It's just wonderful to hear the things that you have, the points you brought up, the idea that just one child,
One child, yeah.
two child, three child, four child, each one is important in themselves, and it's so powerful that each of you reach out with all these seniors and give them a place. And what the seniors get out of it is fantastic.
Absolutely.
You know, you think you're getting toward the end of life, and all of a sudden you're touching a young life.
A young
right.
man.
It's great.
They need to know that they are important.
It
that
is.
This is an
Yeah.
important
Ladies,
role
I
that
thank
they
you
play.
so much for being with me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the help, advice, and sharing your knowledge. We really appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in, all the audience. I'm Bill Hodges. Thank you for being with us. It's Happy and Healthy here at TBCN.